Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here, and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup, and this one's going to be a bit of a short one, but it's one I wanted to cover. So, back when the Overwatch League's second season was in full swing, we had a lot of rumours around the Houston Outlaws. Well, they weren't rumours, they were true, to be quite honest. Now, let's go back to this, because I made a video about it way back earlier this year, and it was all to do with Optic, and Optic's parent company, Infinite Esports. Now, if you remember back along earlier this year, Infinite Esports got into a lot of financial difficulty and were bought out by Immortals. Now, since then, we've seen that most of Optic have been disbanded. This is where Houston kind of get their colour scheme from, you know, the green and black. But Houston remained a franchise in the Overwatch League under Immortals. Now, you may say, what's wrong with that? Well, Immortals own another Overwatch League team, the LA Valiant. Now, under the league's rules, one company cannot own, or one organisation cannot own two Overwatch League teams. It's against competition standards or something, so that two teams can't dominate the league and cooperate, if you see what I mean. Now, the way they got around this is the Overwatch League really closely monitored it, and Houston Outlaws for the rest of the season was run under a branch off of Immortals, separate from the main Immortals kind of branding, right? So this meant that Houston, really suffered later on in the season. There was no investment, they were running on a skeleton crew backstaff, and it was not looking too good for the Houston Outlaws. Now, I had a lot of questions to be answered, because during this off-season so far, we have actually seen Houston Outlaws invest a bit of money into their team. There's been some movements at that team, and it's been really, really good. I think they will be much better than they were last year, looking at the signings they've made with like Hydration and Blase. But my question was, how are they attracting players like Hydration when they've got problems with ownership? Well, we have just had the news that the ownership problem at the Houston Outlaws is sorted. Someone has come in and bought them from Immortals. This is the Beasley Media Group. Now, the Beasley Media Group are a fairly substantial media group throughout the United States. They're a multi-platform media company, and they do radio and digital operations throughout the US. The big thing is, they are expanding well into esports. In April 2019, they acquired Renegades. Renegades is a big part of esports. They've had times in Overwatch, Paladins, Super Smash Bros, Rocket League, Counter-Strike, Halo, League of Legends. They're around the block, Renegades. I'm sure you've probably heard of them. They did have a presence in Overwatch, especially in Tier 2 back along. During 2017-18, they did compete in Contenders Trials in North America in 2018 Season 1. Now, Renegades have been around for a real long time, going back to League of Legends and stuff like that, where they were known as Misfits, but not that Misfits. Now, originally, fun fact, Renegades was owned by Monte Cristo. Yes. And although Renegades are now inactive, we might see the Renegades brand or the team in Tier 2 be rejuvenated as a Houston Outlaws Academy team possibly in the future if this new group that is controlling the Houston Outlaws, this Beasley Media Group, want to do that. They look like they really, really want to get into the esports scene with the Houston Outlaws. This is brilliant news for the Houston Outlaws. They really needed some stability going into the season, because obviously with this homestand format, they need to work out everything, make sure they're on track, and now we're seeing their roster improve, which is the main thing we needed to see for the Houston Outlaws. They've got some real good players on board like Hydration and Blase, and there might be more to come yet. Who knows? And I'm making this video possibly the day before it goes out, so there might be more moves since this video has been made. But it's good to see the Houston Outlaws have got a platform to build from now. It's really, really good. It's nice to see that people still want to come into the Overwatch League, because this is the only change of ownership we've ever seen in the Overwatch League of a team that already existed. This was the first time that we saw a team sold. So, this is nothing but good news for Houston Outlaws. I hope to see them improve in the 2020 season. I'm sure we will. It sorts out the muddle that was Immortals with LA Valiant and Houston Outlaws on board. And if you were wondering about the money in terms of the selling of the Houston Outlaws, no one knows. It hasn't been disclosed. But work on this basis. The original franchises for the inaugural season were $20 million per franchise to enter the league. This has gone up since then, though. The new teams that entered the league last year had to pay more than that to get into the league because of the success of the league. And to be quite honest, pretty much no matter how bad your team's doing, you've kind of gone up in value because of the success of the league. It just depends on how well you're doing. The value can be more. So the numbers they're putting on it at the moment is the Houston Outlaws could have been sold for anywhere between $40 and $60 million, but there's no confirmation on that. And believe me, that's a big sum of money. And I mean, like, if I'm talking about sums of money here, like, there are teams in, like, the English Football League, right? In the Championship, which is a level below the Premier League. If you're American, you probably know the Premier League. The level below the Premier League is the Championship, and there are teams that actually sell for less than that in that league. So we're talking substantial sums of money put down here. So it's good to see that from this information, the league is still growing. Despite, all the troubles that Houston Outlaws have had, they're still a really valuable asset to these companies, and they still want to invest in the league. And it's only going to get better from here because we're going to be going to the homestand format, and that means more revenue, more people involved, more interest from around the world, and then hopefully for the 2021 season, we will see more teams. Because we won't be seeing more teams this year, obviously. But this was a quick video regarding the Houston Outlaws situation and a follow-up on that from earlier in the year. It's all now sorted. They are now owned by the multi-platform media company Beasley Media Group, who also own the esports team Renegades. So that's great news for the Houston Outlaws, and I wish them the best of luck for the 2020 Overwatch League season and the future. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. The next video should be... It'll either be Fortnite Challenge Chaos, depends whether that's come out before or after this, it's probably come out before, or it'll be a transfer roundup, because by now, the deadline has passed for the 8 players to be signed before the 15th of November. So that'll be up next, outlining all the teams that have 8 players signed and who they are. There's been some interesting moves, especially at the NYXL. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.